Well, good afternoon and welcome to the Idahoan Show. So, as you may be aware, my Bushnell red dot sight that I was using on the Utah pistol died on me immediately after the warranty ran out. And so I ordered a replacement. Now, of course, I didn't have a huge budget to spend on that sight when I ordered the Bushnell, and then when that died, I didn't really have much of any budget left for red dot sights. So I went with a $10 generic brand, Chinese sight off of Amazon. And the first thing I noticed when this thing showed up is it is enormous. Compare the size of that to my Bushnell TIS151 that died on me. The Bushnell is more of a rifle style of sight, but it's compact enough that you might realistically think about putting it on a handgun. This thing, the pictures on Amazon's website didn't really have a good scale reference. I guess I didn't get quite a sense of just how big this thing was from looking at the pictures. This clearly is intended for use on a rifle and really looks kind of ridiculous mounted on a handgun. But as long as it works, it really doesn't matter what it looks like. So today we're going to take it for a quick test drive and just see what happens. Okay, so what I was trying to do here was to zero the sight 2 inches below the point of aim. My rationale for that is that that'll put the axis of the sight pretty much parallel to the axis of the bore, because the axis of the bore is 2 inches below the axis of the sight. So just keeping them parallel seems like a logical way to zero a sight for something like the Utah pistol, where I'm always changing out barrels and so forth. Anyway, so this was my first group, adjusted it. This was my second group, adjusted it again. That was my third group. That's 2 inches below where I was aiming, so that was dead on. So then I started shooting at this dot up here, and this is a 10-shot group that I fired, to verify the zero. And it looks to be right on where I wanted it. And that's also a really tight group, at least for shooting a pistol offhand at 10 yards. In fact, that's a tighter group than I was able to shoot with my Springfield XD when I was comparing this barrel to the XD. I've still got the target up from when I did that. The Utah clearly is demonstrating better accuracy now that I have this sight on it than what I was able to get back when I had the Bushnell sight on it. So it seems like the Bushnell was wandering even before I realized it, and actually the accuracy of this barrel is quite a bit better than I realized in that initial test. So that's encouraging. And then the fact that this is such a tight group at this point, and such a comparable group to what I've been able to shoot with other, commercial match-grade handguns, leads me to conjecture that at this point the limiting factor on accuracy is probably my shooting. Probably to test the limits of this gun's mechanical accuracy, I need to go to something like a bench rest or a machine rest so I can eliminate more of the human element. But anyway, so as far as this sight is concerned, I guess I would say so far so good. One minor thing I have noticed is that the rail system is a little bit different than normal sight. Normally on a Picatinny rail mount, you have a screw that goes through that channel cut in the dovetail, and that provides a little bit of positive engagement in case the sight starts to slide back or forward. And this one, the screws are all up above the dovetail, and so the sight is actually free to slide back and forth if the screws aren't tight enough. And even though I tightened those screws down about as much as I could without risking stripping the threads, it is actually sliding a little bit. I noticed that over a 10-shot group, it slid, well, the sight slid forward because the recoil pushed the barrel back on it a little bit on every shot relative to the sight. It slid about the width of the screw over 10 shots. So I'll probably try and modify these rails so I can put a screw or something through that channel in the dovetail and keep it from sliding forward. Maybe once I do that, the scope won't be able to slide, and so it'll feel more of the recoil, and the recoil will end up destroying it. Time will tell. But anyway, so far so good with this sight. I'm sure you'll be seeing more of it in future episodes, so I'll keep you posted on what happens with it. In the meantime, thank you for watching the Idahoan Show.